Hi vibes everybody, and welcome back to Vibe Nation. In today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about yoga and some of the fundamental aspects of yoga, some of the different disciplines and different limbs in yoga or the different branches of yoga, and how we can start to incorporate those into our lives to get a more holistic yoga practice. Because we have to realize yoga is more than just the asana, it's more than just the movement and the postures that we go through and the various sequences that we can do in, a typical modern day yoga class, because there's so much focus on the sequencing, the postures and your alignment and all this stuff, which is important. But we have to realize that's only one aspect of yoga. And there's much more to a traditional yogic path that actually helps us get in tune with more than just the physical body. We have to realize this is a spiritual path, a spiritual practice, a spiritual discipline that we're putting ourselves into. And we have to remember those ancient roots that yoga comes from traditionally. So one of the first things that comes about is our awareness and the state of mind that we have going into the practice. So what sort of habits, are benefiting us in our lives, and what sort of things aren't benefiting us? How can we learn better, self-awareness and self-control over the different urges and temptations that we experience? And how can we get into a more clear and connected sense of self and sense of well-being? And through yoga, we can begin to do that. But it first comes by observing our own minds, by observing our own thoughts, our thinking patterns, our emotions on a day-to-day basis, and seeing what might not be in alignment with that more pure-hearted and centered path that yoga teaches us. So once we can start to get in tune with what's going on in our minds, we can start to become more aware of the disciplines that we need to put into our lives so that we can have that new perspective and that higher frequency, that higher awareness that comes through yoga, but hitting yoga on all points of ourselves and not just the physical aspect. We're taking it even deeper. So there's certain disciplines that go into becoming yoga, just being mindful of your interactions with people, being mindful of the way you speak, the way you eat, what you're consuming, and also being mindful of the reality in general and your experiences that you're having. So then once we can get into the discipline, then we can start to take it a little further and actually get into some of the different techniques, which is where asana comes in. The movements, the different exercises we have, sun salutations, the Surya Namaskar, very traditional yogic exercise, which is really good for balancing, the chakras, balancing the different energy centers, and creating more energy to flow through us on all levels. Or, you could come up with your own exercises. There's the different asanas you can choose from, and you can always, find something that works best for you. But I'll just give an example with the sun salutations of an asana sequence that's very traditional and very well practiced to see the benefits that come through it. Now, along with asana, we also have to learn to get in tune with our breath, because the awareness of our breath is very important. And not when it just comes to yoga, but every moment in our day-to-day life, we can become in tune with our breath. If we can become in tune with our breathing, we can help us get in tune with the present moment. And once we can tune ourselves into the present moment, we'll naturally be more mindful and aware, because we're choosing to focus inwardly rather than let all the outside distractions influence us so deeply. So tuning into the breath awareness, especially in your yoga practice, but like I said, throughout all of your life, is very crucial to getting us into that present moment. Because if you can get a balanced breathing pattern, a balance between your inhale and your exhale, as you're going through the different sequence, you're going to get even more benefits than if you were just to have a more irrational or irregular breathing pattern when you're doing, your yoga sequence. So getting in tune with the breath is very crucial. And that's just the step when it comes to pranayama, which is more of the breathing techniques, more of the specific exercise we can do to access different energies. Like we have the alternate nostril breathing, where you breathe in through one nostril and out the other, and this is creating a balance because of the way you're breathing in a certain amount of time and then exhaling out the other side. You're creating this balance and this wave between the polarities and bringing them into harmony. And that's just a brief description of one of the pranayamas you can do, but you can look into more of the pranayamas and the different techniques you can use along with your yoga practice, deeper your meditations and increase your energy levels and all that good stuff. So then when it comes to what comes after pranayama, what comes after the asana and the awareness and the mindfulness that we get through our yoga practice, so then we take it into meditation. And meditation is very important in your yoga practice, in your spiritual path in general, you should be meditating on a day-to-day basis, every single day, taking that time, whether it's 10 minutes, just 30 minutes, or an hour, whatever you have to do every day. That's your meditation. You should set out to do that every single day and, get into the deeper states of consciousness. First, you have to learn to just focus the mind and clear the mind of all the distractions, and then get that focus to be on one centered point. And you can do this with something like, candle gazing or mandala gazing to start out with, actually physically looking at something, that open eye meditation, to really focus your awareness on one point. And then as you go deeper, you'll naturally be able to tune into that inner mandala, that inner flame, and have that focus, right where it needs to be. But it comes through time and practice and developing your mindfulness, developing your meditation by consistently doing it each day. And it's so important. So once we can get past the clearing the mind and then focusing, then we can go even deeper into meditation, where we become into that state of oneness. All the great yogis in the scriptures talk about is, getting into that samadhi. And that is where the eternal nectar, the amrita, which is the spiritual nectar, the bliss, that loving energy that overflows us when we get that connection back with our creator, that union. And that's what yoga is ultimately teaching us, is to get us back into union with our creator. Through the different levels, we can, balance out our different energies. And then once the physical body is balanced out, then we can go into meditation, because the energy is flowing properly there. And we won't experience the blockages that we might in a yoga practice or in a meditation practice without, the yoga and the asana and the alignment to go along with it. So this all is interconnected. That's the bigger purpose of yoga, is to realize that all of this is interconnected, and it's taking us to these higher stages of consciousness, to where we can get that oneness and reach that state of being where there is no more separate sense of self, this illusionary self, or the ego self that we call it. All of that dissolves away, and you become one with all that is. You become one with the spirit, you become one with the God, the supreme consciousness, whatever you want to call it. You become one with that source again, and you radiate that energy. Your energy field becomes one and radiating in that vibration, that high vibration. And it takes a long time to get there. I'm not saying I've reached that state, at least for a sustained amount of time, but I have had glimpses of that state through continuing my spiritual path and devotion. And it's very possible for us to achieve that, but we first have to look within and get that connection through the meditation, through the different disciplines that come along with yoga. And we'll get there, as long as we stay consistent and stay fully committed to that path and that way of being. So I want to finish it off with a brief explanation of sound yoga, which is, I believe it's called nada yoga, and it's the sound. So mantra is very powerful. This is also in bhakti yoga, which is a more devotional, they do a lot of chanting and kirtans and singing groups where they're all singing and resonating, whether it's just a simple om, vibration, or other mantras where they're all singing and harmonizing together. And that path is also very good, very beneficial to incorporate. At least personally, I enjoy it. Whether it's just singing or chanting, using the om and different mantras to tune myself inwardly and raise, my vibrations on a physical and a non-physical, on a spiritual level as well. So that's another aspect of yoga you could always incorporate in. And like I said, all of these tie together. That can help you. The sound vibrations can help you get into a more meditative state, because you're focusing on that one point, that one sound vibration of om or whatever it may be that you're using, whether it's a singing bowl, you have a bell, or even just playing an instrument. All of that can be a form of yoga and meditation in itself as well. When you have that intention, you have that clear intention to create that result. And, for the most part, that's pretty much all I wanted to go into in this video, is just explain some of the different aspects of yoga and some of the different branches that interlace. And when you combine all these together, you're going to get the most benefits from your yoga practice. You're going to be able to harmonize yourself on higher levels of your chakra system. It's going to be more balanced and energized on a total level, instead of just on the more physical, energetic level. You can reach those deeper non-physical states and more spiritual states of awakening, where you really get that full connection that you're looking for. So if you guys like the video, make sure to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe for more videos, and leave us a comment. Let us know what type of yoga you practice, how it's benefited you. Anything you feel like sharing, feel free to reach out to us. And once again, my gratitude for tuning in, and high vibes.
Vibes.
Vibration team here,
Inviting you guys
to check out our website
at vibernation.com.
Here you can find out more of what Vibration is about.
and get to know our team.
You can also find high vibrational information and products.
Covering all aspects spiritually, mentally, and physically.
Not to mention, by joining our mailing list,
You'll have opportunities to exclusive deals and never before seen information.
And if you'd like to connect with us more,
follow us on Instagram at Vibration Official.
And get to vibe closer with our team.
And of course,
our deepest gratitude for watching.